Hello and welcome. Continuing my recent forays into ancient wisdom, today we embark upon another journey through time, mystery and divine knowledge, delving into the Corpus Hermeticum. I'm following this esoteric line of inquiry because we're at a spiritual and civilizational crossroads that necessitates incorporating ancient wisdom with the modern soul. So, though largely obfuscated, distorted, and massively suppressed by the extreme efforts of the dark side, this priceless knowledge was never entirely destroyed. In the cosmopolitan streets of ancient Alexandria, where the great library once stood as a beacon of human knowledge, a remarkable collection of text was taking shape. These texts would echo through the corridors of time, influencing some of history's greatest minds and shaping the very foundations of Western mystical thought. This is the story of the Corpus Hermeticum, a treasure trove of ancient wisdom that bridges the gap between the divine and the human, between the known and the unknowable. It's a tale that begins in the melting pot of Roman Egypt and continues to inspire seekers of truth today. At the heart of our story stands a figure veiled in mystery, Hermes Trismegistus, the thrice great Hermes. This legendary sage represents the perfect fusion of two ancient traditions, the swift-footed messenger god Hermes from Greek mythology, and Thoth, the ibis-headed god of wisdom from Egypt's pantheon. But was he real? Was he myth? Perhaps the truth lies somewhere in between, in the realm where legend meets profound spiritual insight. Between the 1st and 3rd centuries of the Common Era, within the intellectual crucible of Roman Egypt, anonymous Greek-speaking scholars began crafting what would become one of history's most influential spiritual collections. These weren't mere academic exercises. They were passionate attempts to understand the deepest mysteries of existence, to bridge the gap between human consciousness and divine truth. Within this vibrant intellectual atmosphere, picture these ancient authors working by lamplight in the great city of Alexandria. They were synthesizers, drawing from the philosophical wells of Plato and the Stoics, incorporating the mystical insights of Jewish tradition, the cosmic wisdom of Persian thought, and the profound spiritual heritage of Egypt itself. In their hands, these diverse streams of knowledge flowed together like tributaries forming a mighty river of wisdom. The survival of Corpus Hermeticum itself is a miracle. As the Roman Empire transformed and Christianity rose to prominence, many ancient texts were hunted out and lost forever. Yet these Hermetic writings found sanctuary in Byzantine monasteries, where dedicated scribes ensured their preservation through the dark centuries that followed. Then came a moment that would change everything. In the 15th century, as the Renaissance was drawing across Europe, a precious manuscript arrived in Florence, a complete copy of the Corpus Hermeticum. Lorenzo de' Medici, that great patron of learning and the arts, recognized its significance immediately. He commissioned the brilliant scholar Marsilio Ficino to translate these Greek texts into Latin. Imagine Ficino's wonder as he worked through these texts, discovering teachings that seemed to anticipate and complement the Christian mystical tradition, while offering something entirely unique. His translation ignited a wildfire of interest across Renaissance Europe, influencing everyone from philosophers to artists, from alchemists to theologians. The Corpus Hermeticum, as we know it today, consists of 17 treatises. Scholars typically focus on the 15 main texts. Each one is carefully crafted explorations of humanity's relationship with the divine, presented through various literary forms that make the profound accessible. The collection opens with perhaps its most famous and influential text, the Poimandres. Here we witness Hermes receiving a divine vision from Poimandres, the mind of God, or the man shepherd. This isn't merely a philosophical dialogue, it's a mystical experience that sets the tone for everything that follows. Through this vision, fundamental questions about the nature of reality, the origin of the cosmos, and humanity's divine destiny are explored with breathtaking depth. The subsequent treatises unfold like a carefully orchestrated symphony. The general sermons, treatises 2 through 9, presents dialogues and lectures that delve into Hermetic cosmology, exploring how the divine manifests in creation and how human beings can align themselves with cosmic truth. These aren't dry academic discussions. They pulse with the urgency of spiritual seekers desperate to understand their place in the grand scheme of existence. Treatise 10, known as the Key, serves as a masterful summary of the preceding teachings, offering readers a way to unlock the deeper meanings embedded in the earlier texts. It's as if the ancient authors understood that their readers would need a guide to navigate the profound territories they were exploring. The final treatises, 11 through 14, venture into the deepest mystical waters, exploring the psychological and spiritual dimensions of Hermetic practice. These texts don't just describe spiritual transformation. They attempt to catalyze it, offering practices and insights designed to awaken the divine spark within each reader. At the heart of Hermetic philosophy lies a vision of reality that is both breathtakingly simple and infinitely complex. Everything from the smallest grain of sand to the most distant star emanates from a single divine source. This isn't merely a philosophical concept, it's a lived reality that transforms how we understand ourselves and our world. The Hermetic texts speak of the divine mind, the nous, the organizing intelligence that permeates and governs the universe. But here's the revolutionary insight. This cosmic intelligence isn't separate from us. Through spiritual awakening, through the cultivation of true knowledge, or gnosis, we can access this divine mind directly. We can participate in the very consciousness that creates and sustains reality. This leads to one of Hermeticism's most powerful teachings, the possibility of spiritual rebirth. The texts don't speak of this metaphorically. They describe an actual transformation of consciousness, a death to the limited self and a birth into divine awareness. This isn't something that only happens after physical death. It's available here and now to anyone willing to undertake the inner work required. Know thyself. This ancient maxim takes on profound new meaning in the Hermetic context. Self-knowledge isn't mere introspection, it's the recognition that in understanding our own deepest nature, we come to understand the nature of the divine itself. The microcosm reflects the macrocosm. The human soul is a mirror of cosmic truth. The Hermetic worldview presents reality as fundamentally dual, yet ultimately unified. The material world we experience with our senses is real, but it's also a shadow of a higher spiritual reality. The goal isn't to reject the material world, but to see through it to the spiritual truths it conceals and reveals. Perhaps most importantly, the Hermetic texts emphasize human freedom and responsibility. We are not passive victims of fate or divine decree. We have the power to choose between material attachment and spiritual enlightenment, between ignorance and wisdom, between separation and unity. This choice, made moment by moment, shapes not only our individual destiny, but our contribution to the cosmic whole. The influence of the Corpus Hermeticum extends far beyond its ancient origins. During the Renaissance, it inspired artists like Leonardo da Vinci, whose notebooks reveal deep engagement with Hermetic principles. Scientists like Isaac Newton, often considered the father of modern physics, were profoundly influenced by Hermetic ideas about the unity of natural forces. The text became foundational to the Western esoteric tradition, influencing the development of alchemy, astrology, and various forms of mysticism. But this wasn't merely academic influence. These ideas shaped how people understood their relationship to nature, to the divine, and to their own potential for transformation. In our modern era, figures like Carl Jung found in Hermetic psychology profound insights into the human psyche and the process of individuation. Contemporary spiritual seekers continue to discover in these ancient texts wisdom that speaks directly to the challenges and opportunities of our time. Today, the Corpus Hermeticum continues to inspire and challenge readers around the world. In an age of scientific materialism and technological advancement, these ancient texts offer something our culture desperately needs: a vision of reality that honours both the material and the spiritual, that sees science and mysticism not as enemies but as contemporary approaches to understanding truth. The Hermetic emphasis on direct experience, on the possibility of personal transformation, and on the fundamental unity of all existence resonates powerfully with contemporary insights from quantum physics, depth psychology, and consciousness research. These ancient texts seem to anticipate many of the questions that modern humanity is only beginning to ask. The Corpus Hermeticum reminds us that the search for meaningful connection with the divine, for understanding of our place in the cosmos, is not a modern invention. It's the eternal human quest expressed with particular eloquence and insight by these anonymous sages of ancient Alexandria. As we conclude our journey through the origins and understanding of the Corpus Hermeticum, we're left with an invitation, that same invitation that has been extended to seekers for nearly 2,000 years. These texts don't merely ask us to understand them intellectually, they challenge us to embark upon our own journey of transformation, to discover for ourselves the divine spark that the Hermetic sages insisted burns within every human heart. The Corpus Hermeticum stands as a testament to the enduring human capacity for wisdom, for spiritual insight, and for the courage to seek truth wherever it may lead. In our modern world, perhaps now more than ever, we need the reminder these ancient texts provide that we are not merely material beings struggling for survival, but spiritual beings capable of profound transformation and divine realization. The wisdom of Hermes Trismegistus awaits. The question we must all ask ourselves is, are we spiritually evolved enough to receive it? Thank you for watching.